Assalamualaikum, very good morning to everyone. Today I will be recording a very short class for week 11. If you log into your spectrum, you'll notice that there is a new material that I posted in, which is your final exam. Perhaps I have told you earlier that the final exam would be a take-home exam, where I'll give you the question now, and you have to submit the answer or to the questions by 25th of January 2020. Okay, let's have a look at what the questions are. There will be two questions here addressing CO2 VO6 and CO3 VO3. Okay, CO is for your course outcomes, VO is your program outcomes. So if you're not sure what it is, you can look up the document for the course. Okay, so let's go to the question. The first question is about anemia. What I'm asking of you is basically to write a brief proposal for the design and development of a microfluidic system capable of measuring hemoglobin and hematocrit levels from a drop of blood. Okay, because normal or a typical test that we have now at the lab is to use a very big amount of blood from the patient, just to do a complete blood count, not including other chemical tests and so on. So what I'm asking you is for you to plan or to design something that can measure hemoglobin and hematocrit. Okay, what I require from you, or what I expect from you, has been outlined here. Start with an introduction to anemia. What is anemia and what is the causes, and a quick review on different methods of detecting anemia. What I want from you here is just a list or a summary of what kind of lab test do we use now to detect anemia, and then for you to design the proposed device. Okay, now what I want from you is not a complete design from somebody or you just copy and paste. I don't want that as well, but what I want is for you to put in your idea and start from that idea. You design something that can fulfill that idea. Okay, I used a hint here. I highly encourage you to use this hint. If you not going to use this, it's going to be quite difficult for me to follow your explanation later. Okay, the hint is special contents of the red blood cells. Okay, so go back to your biology notes or anatomy notes and see what does red blood cells contain. Red blood cells is important for oxygen transport, if you remember, and oxygen is carried by hemoglobins, and hemoglobins are made up mostly of iron atoms, remember. So ions are attracted to what? To magnets. Okay, so what I'm asking of you is for you to design something using magnets to direct the flow of the hemoglobin so that you can manipulate single red blood cells, and for you to detect whether it has anemia or not. Okay, so I just given you how to detect the hemoglobin, to separate the hemoglobin, but you still have to think of a way on how to detect the anemia after separating the hemoglobin. Okay, separating red blood cells, by using the hemoglobin content, because you know that hemoglobin contains iron, iron ions. So you separate them using magnets. Okay, but what do you do to detect the anemia? So I want your ideas. Ideas can be real, ideas can be imaginary, ideas can come from your readings, or not. Okay, so I want to hear that. Right, so going back to question 2. Question 2 is a bit specific. You have to select a lab on disk device developed by the research group led by Professor Marc Madou. Okay, as can be seen from your weekly assignments, you must have noticed that Marc Madou is a famous professor who led quite a number of research groups around the world. If the paper has his name in it, you can use it. Doesn't matter if his name appears in the front or at the back of the list of authors. Okay, it doesn't matter. So choose one, and from there you read up what is it trying to do. Describe the usage. I've outlined all you need to do here, so don't worry so much about the question. So describe its usage, describe the fabrication method, how it's made, and the problem it's trying to solve. And I would like you to propose a suitable improvement to address its problem. Okay, let's say you find a paper by using Google. You find this paper, for example, I just type in lab on a CD in a Google, and this paper showed up on ResearchGate. So let's say you want to have a look at this paper. Okay, I have downloaded the full paper here, but this is a review paper. Review paper means it studies a different kind of research and explain what is it about and why it's important and so on. I found this table 1 to be very important, very interesting, because it compares all the microfluidics, the important microfluidics technology, and see which one is much more advantageous than the others. Centrifuge. Centrifuge is the kind that for lab on CD. Pressure is something else, acoustic is something else. Electrokinetic, interestingly, is what I did for my PhD. It's also listed here. So all these 4 is the promising technology for us to develop a lab on a chip. Okay, so you might want to read the paper quickly. Don't get too bogged down with the terms if you don't know what it means. I want you to focus on the graphs, on the figures, because this actually explains the technology much more easier. Okay, so basically this is what a lab on a CD means. There's a CD that can actually have valves and chambers in it. When rotated, you can do a lot of things on it. You can mix them. You can read about how it works here. You can mix liquids in it, and you can do valving. Valving means you allow the flow of fluid at certain time and certain way. Okay, you can do valving. You can do capillary valving, hydrophobic valving, and so on. What else you can do with CD? Yes, you can do metering. Metering means you know how much it is. For example, let's say going back to our blood example just now, you can actually measure how much anemic cells are in your blood, for example. So you can do that with CD on a chip, lab on a CD. Okay, so this is another design, a simple design to show that you can actually, by putting a sample here, you can mix it with other reagents, and then in the end you detect it whether something is there or not here in detection chamber. Okay, so you can have all of these other techniques as well. Okay, so if you want to use Google Scholar, also can. You look up Prof. Marc Madou's name, that's his face at the back. So let's say you selected this paper. So I have downloaded this paper here. So this kind of paper is quite generic, generic in terms of the technology, but the use is very specific. Okay, it's used for enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. Okay, that's Madou's name there. So this paper basically discuss how a CD, this is a CD with all these chambers, can actually be used to detect cells or certain certain things in the cell by using ELISA reagent. Okay, if you don't know what ELISA means, you can quickly Google what ELISA means. Okay, basically it's just a chemical testing for bodily fluids. It could be blood, it could be something else, and by using certain reagents. Okay, reagents, let me spell it out for you. Reagents are just chemical compounds that can combine to certain things, so that when it's combined, you can see them. Okay, or you can measure them. Perhaps the most easiest is for reagents which has a fluorescent material. Fluorescent means it glows under the microscope. So let's say something is attracted to the this reagent, which are fluorescent. So by making it fluorescent, you can see it under the microscope. This is the CD, for example, and this paper basically describes what you can do. But the problem with this kind of paper is that it won't tell you what problem that it has. Okay, so I'm going to give you another tip for you to see how to see the challenges that this kind of technology has. Okay, because all this paper normally says the advantages of using this CD technology. Okay, so for me, I just Google up challenges in the use of lab on CD. So this paper came up. And you can have a look. Actually, it discusses quite a number of problems that it has. So I want you to understand what the problem is and try to propose something. It might not work. Don't worry so much about whether it will work or not, whether you know enough about the technology or not. Okay, just understand what lab on CD means and understand what the problem is and try to propose something. Okay, I can see that there is a number of problems here, and try to address it by proposing an idea to overcome the problem. Okay, there must be a problem. Okay, there must be a problem. Let me assure you that if you find that, oh, it's so fantastic, lab on CD is good for everything, one proof that it is problematic until now is that it's not used commercially yet. Okay, so whenever something is not commercially used yet, you cannot buy it in supermarket or in pharmacy, meaning that there is a problem with the technology. Okay, find what that problem is and then you propose the idea to overcome it. Okay, so this is just the two questions, 20 marks and 20 marks each. Submit it before 25th of January and that's your final exam. Okay, good luck and all the best.